it's a mental health issue for Antonio Brown, so be it.
I actually feel for this guy in terms of his mental well-being.
Everybody should find, hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it.
I'm not surprised that people are talking about mental health and CTE in the wake of Antonio Brown's behavior. CTE is a neurodegenerative brain disease that's caused by repetitive traumatic injuries to the brain. It's logical to assume that about at least 1 in 10 NFL players on the field right now have CTE. Could be depression, could be anxiety, their inability to control their behaviors, their impulses, aggression, sometimes violence. CTE is very often seen in people who have taken thousands and thousands of blows to the head. And Antonio Brown's one of the top 25 receivers in NFL history. He's been tackled nearly 1,000 times just during games, let alone practice, college, high school, youth. So he has taken extraordinary head trauma.
I can't remember how to tie a tie. I can't remember how to lace my shoes. My left arm won't do what my brain tells it to do.
When Andre Waters died in 2006, who was a strong safety for the Philadelphia Eagles and a guy I grew up watching, he took his life at age 45, and it turned out he had CTE. Football has driven this partially because there's a huge problem, but also football was targeted at the beginning because the NFL was actively denying that there was this thing called CTE and it was related to football.
He had very advanced disease. This would be the first case we've ever seen of that kind of damage in such a young individual.
If I had a son myself, I suppose I could make him not play, but I would really, really strongly discourage him from the play.
The concept of permanent brain damage and dementia following repeated blows to the head is a very well-established and generally accepted principle in medicine. Would you agree with that statement?
There's a lot more you have to say about yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree.
In 2003, a concussion ended my career, and I kept performing with the concussion and made it so bad that I've never recovered. And then as I went down the concussion path, I started learning about CTE and realized CTE was this related but separate horrible disease that we need to get our arms around because it was killing people. CTE became widely known in 1928 from a famous paper called Punch Drunk by Harrison Martland, where he noted that boxers were coming into his clinic showing this same constellation of memory problems, inappropriate behaviors, Parkinson's-like movements and tremors.
Repeated sharp blows may well result in serious mental or physical injury, or even, as is too often the case, death.
But then we stopped and we didn't think about all the other sports and activities that can cause CTE. When you talk about will fewer players develop CTE, you have to realize that they're not just developing CTE in the NFL, they're developing it in college and in high school and even younger. That no child should be playing tackle football before age 14. And frankly, no child in any sport should be exposed to repetitive hits to the head. We actually have to change what we're doing with children when their brain's developing, and that's not what's happening.